So like always, I tried something new today. I was shooting a cross-country meet with I think 10 or 15 different teams. And I tried to get video at the same time I was shooting stills. So I had the bright idea about putting the GoPro on top of the 850. Seems like a good idea. However, my 850 is extremely loud. So all that clicking you hear is the shutter in the 850, which I had a 24-120 on it. And it's kind of loud, I have to admit. The other problem I had, and you'll see at some point, is the GoPro accidentally got switched into time-lapse mode, so that's a little embarrassing too. That was at the end of the women's race, and again at the end of the men's race, and then the battery went dead. So, a few problems. I'm putting this video up just because I tried something different to remind myself not to do this again, or to do it differently. So, hopefully this helps someone else not make the same mistake I did. But this is all pre-game stuff here, or pre-race stuff. I mean, some of them work pretty well. You know, the GoPros have pretty wide lenses on them, so for something like this particular group here, it worked fairly well for these this team here. So, and at some point I'm going to switch over to some Z9 videos, which today there was a ton of wind, and you can really hear the wind noise. I'm not sure what you can do about the wind noise on the Z9 using the built-in microphones. I guess you could put an external microphone on there, probably with a shotgun, but you know, how much equipment do you want to carry around when you're trying to, as you can see, roam around with people running all over the place and, you know, a few hundred runners. And the other problem I had, the GoPro kept spinning around on top of the 850. So this is more of the pre-game stuff here. In a second, we're going to get to the Z9 clips of people warming up. And this is me just kind of walking. Probably can get rid of this part here, but just there's some decent clips here and there. I mean, I could have done a much tighter edit on this, but I just kind of did it just so you can get an idea of what these things look like. I mean, the quality of the GoPro, I still say the quality of these GoPros looks pretty good from an exposure standpoint. This particular one, I have two of them. This particular one was overexposing stuff today. I'm not sure what its thing was. So that's my 24-120, which is an okay lens. It's an f4. Now this is with the Z9 right here. These two warming up. These guys warming up here is more Z9 video. And you know, the clarity is pretty good. This is a 300-8 with a 1.4 converter on it. So we're shooting at f4. And it's a prime lens, obviously, in that configuration. It's 420 millimeters. I mean, it focuses relatively fast, as you can tell. And this is just more people warming up. And I was there to do stills, so this was all just experimental stuff right now. So the video was just an experiment. So much to do. I have another cross-country meet to do in a few weeks at a different college with, I think, 3 times the amount of teams that were at this one. So that might not be the best place to experiment. So that's why I tried it at this one. But the next one's going to be a big meet. It's out along the shoreline of Connecticut, and there's a lot of teams. From what I remember last time when I was there, like 20, 30 different teams. It's packed. So this is more just examples of the Z9 and its capabilities with video, which is pretty good. I mean, I'm really enjoying this video and the ability to look through the viewfinder while you're doing video, as opposed to the D850 and the 850 where you had to look through the back of the camera. Really annoying. So this, that you can actually look through the eyepiece and see how the video is coming out, is pretty cool. But the clarity of this lens is pretty nice. It's about as sharp as you can get, right? I mean, it's long glass and it's sharp. So this is more of the beginning. Just kind of zooming around. At some point we're going to hear the national anthem coming up here and just kind of pan the crowd. Little focusing issue right there sometimes, but you know, these people are moving pretty fast. More warming up. This is the national anthem coming up here in a second. But not as many runners here as last time. Last time I covered this event, there were probably 2 or 3 times the amount of teams there. There was nowhere to park. There was people everywhere. It's chaos. If you've ever covered a cross-country meet These things are chaos at the end. When the first few runners, there's always a space between them. But then there's that like time when all the people finish at the same time, and people just start coming across the finish line like in herds. So when you're trying to pick out a school or two that you're there to get specifically, it's a challenge. So I always like using long glass. Maybe that's a mistake because you can only fit so many people in your long glass at once. And at the end, it's a real challenge, which is why I brought the 24 to 120 this time to see if that made things easier. Now this is the, again, it gets pretty tight with the 300 with the 1.4 converter on it. So, I mean, they run toward you, you get about maybe a second and a half of shooting, and then, you know, boom, they're all too close. Now this is GoPro video here. Again, I got to figure out why that one is overexposing everything. And that's the 300-2.8. Kind of butting in the frame right there in the upper left. Sorry about that. It was on monopod, and probably should have turned it around and had the lens pointing back. So another tip to remember if you ever do this is turn your lens around. Now here comes an interesting part. This is when it, in a second here, you're going to see how I switched to time-lapse mode. And what I did, which I don't know if this works or not, is I slowed it down in post-production. So because these were funny moments. He's into the match or meet moments, and everyone's mugging for the camera and stuff like that. These are good moments, but I have stills of it. But these are the videos, and this is in time-lapse mode, which looks kind of funky. So I slowed it down to 0.05 speed, and it actually worked. I'm kind of surprised. So another thing I learned. So this is kind of like a learning video for me, and you can kind of see how I did it, and what I did and what I learned not to ever do again, or to perhaps improve upon. So more just kind of walking around. This is after the women's race, trying to find you know, people reacting and stuff. But like I said, it's all in time lapse, so it's kind of annoying. So this was probably some better clips could have been had here, but the camera switched itself into time lapse. I got to figure out if there's a way to set that. If you do know of a way to set these GoPros so they don't get bumped into time-lapse accidentally, is there a way to lock all your screens and settings so it can just stay in a mode and this never happens again? Because this happened once before when I was doing a lawnmower video. It switched into time-lapse on me, and it was pretty annoying because, you know, you think you have a half-an-hour video and it turns out you have a minute and a half of whatever. But again, at the end here, this is all just the time-lapse stuff that I slowed down, which I'm surprised. I mean, the quality of these images slowed down. So I don't know how many frames it's doing or how it produced the actual content, but I have to say I'm kind of impressed with slowing this video down and having like usable images that you can see what was actually happening. Like this was a funny team. These Wagner kids are really funny. So this was them kind of posing, which I have stills of it. And it would have been cool to have stills and video of the same exact moment, which was my intention, but it didn't work out that well. So this is more just kind of milling around, trying to find stuff to get stills and videos of. These two were really funny here. And there's no audio, of course. Now I figured out that the GoPro was messing up. So now we're trying to find another team to get some team shots. And we're just kind of wandering around here. But I actually zoomed in on these GoPro videos as well, so these are kind of, I don't know how many % blown up. There's a crop feature where you can go in and crop these things in post, because the framing isn't always on when you're not looking at the back of the camera and you're just kind of wandering around like this, looking through your viewfinder on your D850 while the GoPro is attached to your hot shoe. So it worked better than I expected. My intention was to put something on a monopod or a tripod in front of me and just leave it run, which might be a better solution for next time, is just to have another thing to carry, set it on a monopod or a tripod in front of me, or a light, probably a light stand would be quicker, and just have that so it's recording the videos, maybe not so much while you're walking around. So walking around with it on top of the camera is a functional way to do this. It would have come in handy back in the newspaper days, but just trying to get some different kind of reactions and different kind of videos from these events. Like I said, this was all purely experimental today, and this is what I found the other team that I need to get some images of. So here we go. This is this one was cropped in a decent amount too. There was a lot of sky, and I was able to crop in and make this slightly more usable. But this one here, where these three were kind of posing, this was also cropped in. There was a lot of sky in this one. So like I said, that GoPro with that, I had it at linear with the horizon lock, but linear, I don't know what millimeters it's at as far as viewing is concerned.
Yeah, let's go over there.
But it's a little wider than I was shooting at with the 24 to 120. So once again, there's going to be some more group shots coming up here. And these are cropped in quite a bit as well. So I think there's actually audio with this. Maybe I can stop talking and let you guys just hear what's going on here. But this was cropped in a little bit, so let's just let this regular audio play.
Just watch out where
you'll hear the 850 clicking away.
Yeah, I know.
Which I don't know if it's just my 850 or every 850, but that thing makes an awful lot of noise. If I had ever used that thing in court, I'm pretty sure a judge would have tossed me. So another option would be to put the GoPro on top of the Z9, because of course it doesn't make any noise when you shoot stills. So that would be a viable option. Maybe next time I'll put this on top of the Z9 and do stills with the Z9, have the GoPro doing video on top of the Z9 at the finish, and figure out what long glass to use on some other camera body for the race images. Maybe I'll do that next time. So I haven't done a race in a couple weeks, so maybe we'll do a reverse of what I did today. I had the big glass on the Z9 and I have the smaller glass on the 850. So maybe I'll reverse that next time and put the Z9 on the in the GoPro together and have the 850 on the long glass and the maybe even the D500. We'll see. So I mean, the quality of this video looks pretty good. This was kind of backlit. And the GoPro handled it relatively well. It may have bumped up the shadows a little bit in post-production here.
Thank you.
A little bit. But just some kind of different stuff from cross-country meets than I usually get. Usually it's just stills and a lot of low, shallow depth of field with a big glass, but I try to do something different. This was the Wagner group. These guys were fun. There's the lens again, kind of getting in my way. Sorry about that. Like I said, note to self, flip the 300 around or the long glass around so it's not blocking the GoPro video. So that's something else that we learned here today. And I think the battery is about to go dead when the men's race starts. Because as we all know, GoPro batteries don't last very long. I'm not sure how long they last, but not very long. Very frustrating. So this worked out well with these guys, although you can see both lenses in that one. And a little bit of the sky, there's my lens. And this was cropped in quite a bit too. This was the first loop around the pond, and I believe the battery in the GoPro is about to give up shortly. So let me know what you think. Is this a viable way to shoot a cross-country match? I don't really know, but it's fun to experiment. So I like trying new stuff, and that's what we did, and hopefully you like it. Thanks for watching.